A feeling of pride touches all of us inside when we call this land our home.
Oh Canada, तू प्यारो देश हमारा, तुझ पे जान निसार, तेरी जब भी सुने पुकार, रखे कदम कदम हम जन्म जन्म, उत्तर मजबूत आजाद, जहाँ जहाँ से हम आके हुए हैं जम, तुझे देखे सदा आबाद।
Tarik Kiani, please. Thank you so much, sir. And PC Community Association, thank you so much for this beautiful evening. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, on behalf of RepublicPlusTV and sohnidhartipakistan team and myself, I would like to thank you all for being here tonight to celebrate Canada Day. This day every year reminds us that this country, this great country, has accepted us with open arms and with love. And we really thank you for that. Thank you, Canada. Every individual and society has a past. Countries have their history. And sometimes the history is not that great. And sometimes it's really ugly and black. Unfortunately, Canada has in its past something which is not we are proud of. Especially when we look at the mass graves which we are finding now of Aboriginal children. This really breaks our heart. This is not the Canada which we were thinking. The Canada which welcomed us and gave us an opportunity to celebrate our own days, our own culture, our own language, our own traditions very proudly. That is Canada which we love. But this is an history. And history always have a lesson to learn. So today the question is not that have we learned any lesson or not. The question is really, are we making same mistakes today? And when I look at things and the events which are in front of us, I cannot say that we have stopped everything which happened in the past. It is still continuing. We have Aboriginals, they have submitted themselves. We change their language, we change their culture, we change everything. Even today, if you go to native reserves, most of them does not have clean drinking water. That's the sad part, that even today, they're not better off. But when I go further, a little bit further, I see that we are making similar mistakes, similar atrocities, if I would say. I was talking to, the other day I had an interview with a Palestinian Christian leader. And it was really an eye-opener interview. That Canada has a law where we cannot permit anybody to recruit their people, their military, their defense forces from Canada. And that is pretty much clear in the law. But there is only one country which is exempt, and that is Israel. And they are still doing today. The lone soldiers issue is a huge issue, and these lone soldiers are killing machines. They are killing innocent Palestinians even today. And they're committing war criminals. And they are Canadian passport holders. They're Canadian citizens. The lone soldiers means that they don't have any immediate family in Israel. And my friends, especially the BC NDPs, I would like to request you guys that please look into one thing which I want to tell you, that in 1948, one of your colleagues who was minister, Norm Levy, he was part of 300 lone soldiers who have killed so many innocent Palestinians. And he was never being prosecuted. And BC government never apologized on that. So I don't want to say too much about it now. But now I would like to request and invite one of my favorite politicians, and from my riding, Ken Hardy. Please come on stage and say a few words. Thank you very much, sir.
There's an old expression, honestly and completely applies to politics. The expression is, when all is said and done, there is more said than done. And so I am going to be maybe a little, not quite as brief as I've been in a number of events that we've had, but there's a lot to reflect on. In my time, first as a broadcaster, and then in public affairs, and then in politics, I've had a chance to live in many communities. I've had a chance to visit many communities. And particularly, I've always paid attention to the quality of life of our First Nations people, our Indigenous people, our Métis, our Inuit people. And it varies. A couple of years ago, I was at above the Arctic Circle at the Arctic Ocean, visiting communities there of Inuit. And they have a kind of prosperity that would be quite foreign to us. But they live well. They don't have all our stuff, but they live well. They live off the land. And between the various communities, they work on a consensus basis. They sit down and they work things out between them so that there's peace and harmony, not just between the people, but between the people and the land and the creatures of the land. And this, more or less, is what the rest of our Indigenous people used to have before the European settlers came along. And I've certainly heard in some of the commentary that Pakistan is no stranger to the impact of European settlement colonization, nor is India. But in my time in government, and before that, as if you like, an observer of government, I was always mystified by how durable the issues with our Indigenous people were. That they were always in poverty, most of them. It wasn't until I got up north that I actually saw the kind of life that they could be leading. And I wondered why. But then when you start to really understand the implications of the residential schools, that they would take young children and literally, and it's a horrible expression, but it is true, it is in government documents, literally try and beat the Indian out of them. Well, what do you get when you do that to a young person? They come out and they're hollow. They're hollow. And when they're damaged like that, what do you think will happen to their families and to their children? And when you think about that, you start to understand why the damage done has been so resilient to change, to making things better. So we stopped talking so much about reconciliation after we got the Truth and Reconciliation report. And our government committed to do things. But there's no playbook to rescue a people who've been hollowed out. So the damage done has been, I'm not going to say irreparable, but it is deep and it is significant. Normally what governments do is they try and address trouble with money. And they invest money and they allocate money. But money has no magical properties if the right intent and the right spirit isn't there. And this is something that my government, under the Prime Minister Trudeau, is trying to address. And we are doing something with our Indigenous people that in fact we started doing with Canadians 7 years ago, before he became Prime Minister. We're listening. We're listening because, you know, since the little ones were being discovered in their graves at the Indian residential schools, I had so many emails coming into me saying, the government has to get in there, we have to find those kids, and we have to do something about it. And I wrote back to them and said, no, because this is what governments always do. We know best, and we're going to come flying in there and we're going to fix everything. No. The idea is we have to listen to the Indigenous people. They have to tell us what the right thing to do is. We have to work together in a partnership. But we have a long way to go. Tarik, you're absolutely right. We have very durable issues that are going to be hard to fix. And the one that will keep coming up is systemic racism. Doug, how many people live in Surrey?
About 600,000.
600,000, okay. I can't do the math that quickly, but among that 600,000, there are 13,000 Indigenous people living in our communities with us. Okay? So if you can do the math quickly, you can tell me what percent of our total population are made up by Indigenous people, but it's a very, very small percent. Everybody's reaching for their phones. But it should be a shock to you that even at that tiny percent of Surrey's population, Indigenous kids represent 44% of the kids in care. So we have to ask ourselves, what's going on there? What did we do? What damage is evident through what we see in front of us? The evidence is there. And then how do we work with the communities to fix it? Because it isn't just a matter of money, and it isn't just a matter of making speeches. It's real concrete action. Tarik, I can tell you, in fact, that as of 3 weeks ago, there were no boil water advisories in BC. None. We fixed them all, including one short-term one up the coast. And we feel good about that. But there's still 52 across the country that need to be fixed. But that's what you do. Things like broadband internet. Can you imagine? Can you imagine not having it here? And what your life would be like? And think of remote communities and what a lifeline that could be to them. But that's the sort of investment that our government is making.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call our Mayor of Surrey, Mr. Doug McCallum, to please present. Come to the stage and give us your names.
Thank you very much, and I will be short. I just wanted, it's a real pleasure. I was sitting to a lot of stories and so forth, and today is a very special day. It's Canada Day, and what is Canada? Canada is a country of immigrants. Myself from Scotland, or my family's from Scotland, but we're from all over the world, and we've come together as a country And the fabrics that hold Canada together is all the different cultures in the world working together to make Canada stronger. And we have to do that each and every day, each and every hour. And you know, I was looking out over the audience, and it's so nice to see so many faces again after so long having not to get out and so forth. But I was just reflecting, the most important table in this room is in the back there, right in the corner, where all the kids are. That's where our future is. Just listen to them once in a while. Maybe all of us can learn a lot, including me. And again, it is a real pleasure. It's a day that's got happiness and it's got sadness. You know, Canada has come through a very dark corner in its history with the discovery of all the children in those graves and so forth. I have 3 grandkids that are First Nations. Them a lot. They're running around, but I think when I looked at them, they're at the age that if you take them back 2 generations, they could have very easily been in those graves that we're discovering now. So it brings the reality home to you and how a dark corner that is in Canadian history. And the same with the terrorist and racist attack in London, Ontario that we went through recently. There's no place in any country, and certainly there's no place in Canada for that type of racist and terrorist attack that happened there. But having said that, you know, we are a country that's strong, and we're strong again because of our immigration policies and because people have come and want to live in our great city. And, you know, and so we got to move forward. We got to move on. We got to be very positive. You know, I've done that. I've come back from being defeated in politics and came back stronger, younger, actually. I'm getting younger as the years go on. And not only that, I got more energy now than I did have 10 years ago. So you better look out what's coming down the pipe in Surrey in the next couple of years. But to me, it is really an exciting time in Surrey. Surrey is a reflection of all the cultures in the world. The other day I was at Crescent Beach. I live at Crescent Beach. I went out on the beach on a very hot day about a week ago. And as I was walking on the beach, I was looking out of all the people. The water was full of people, especially families, kids. I counted 35 different nationalities in that water, looking out there and talking to them. There was people on paddle boards, there was people in boats and sailboats, and there was even some kite flying, which surprised me. But the fact remains, everybody was happy there. They were enjoying themselves with all the different cultures. All the kids laughing together, girls and 7 and 8 girls walking along the beach together, laughing. 3 or 4 young boys walking along, laughing, enjoying life. And that's what Canada's about. That's what the city of Surrey is about. That's why we have to work hard to protect the rights that we have developed in Canada and also in the city of Surrey. And I'm so proud of all the residents in Surrey because we have shown Canada, we have shown the world in some cases how we can get together, how we can enjoy each other, how we can learn from each other. And we can make a far better life for everyone. So the future to me is very, very bright. Learn from the past. Let's move forward. Let's enjoy everybody. And let's really have a good time. And we're developing this city. This council has been the most progressive council I have ever seen. We just approved over $250 million of infrastructure projects. A lot in sports. We're building new sports stadiums, new community centers. We're building soccer fields, international cricket pitch in Surrey. build facilities. And I'm a big sports fan. That's how we can keep our kids healthy, keep our kids out of trouble, get them involved in sports. Anyways, I promise to be short, so I will. Nice to see everybody. It makes me really, really happy. Have a good night, and let's remember, let's treat all our neighbors, no matter where they're from, as friends, as business acquaintances, and let's work together and make this city of Surrey the best city in the world. Thank you very much.
Get better and better day by day. So I pass on to Constitution of Pakistan, and we pass on to Asif Iqbal. Yeah, congratulations to whole family, hard-working family. Sayyid Asif. So Khalid Chauhan and Mr. Doug McCallum, our mayor, is awarding Asad Gondal Sahab. Thank you very much, you guys. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
एंड ग्रोसरी स्टोर इनसाइड, जहाँ से आप हर तरह के पाकिस्तानी और इंडियन ग्रोसरी ले सकते हैं। इसके अलावा आप यहाँ से मनी ट्रांसफर भी कर सकते हैं। यूनिट 111-13049 76 Avenue, Surrey. Our phone number is 778-322-9120.
Zest Copy and Print provides copies and printing banners, signs, labels, cartridge refills, passport photos, and mailbox. Our phone number is 604-543-ZEST, 15350 Fraser Highway, Surrey, BC. Zest Copy and Print.
Making an investment mistake could affect your whole future, so it only makes sense to seek professional advice before you make a major financial decision. You want someone who understands your needs and your dreams, who is thoroughly up to speed on market conditions, regulations, current trends, who knows how to get the optimum value from selling your home. Keep thinking about selling. Talk to your realtor.
Hello everyone, my name is Abdul Qayyum, your own family realtor. For all your real estate needs, please give me a call. I'm just a phone call away. My number is 778-688-4777. Thank you.
Canada में लाहौर?
जी हाँ, टेस्ट ऑफ लाहौर, 9526 120th Street, Surrey. अगर आपने पाकिस्तानी खाने खाने हैं तो एक ही नाम, टेस्ट ऑफ लाहौर। सैटरडे संडे नाश्ता, निहारी पाए और हलवा पूरी। यहाँ पे 200 लोगों की पार्टी भी कर सकते हैं और प्राइवेट मीटिंग के लिए कॉन्फ्रेंस हॉल भी अवेलेबल है। बुकिंग के लिए हमारा नंबर है 604-498-6555। टेस्ट ऑफ लाहौर।
मैं हूं सलमा शाह और आप देख रहे हैं सोनी धरती पाकिस्तान। हमारे न्यू एपिसोड देखने के लिए हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलिएगा। कीप वाचिंग सोनी धरती पाकिस्तान।
I'd like to ask the Consul General of Pakistan, Mr. John Basman, to please come on the stage.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening. It's a pleasure and it's an honor that I have been invited to this event on an auspicious day like the Canada Day. Though it is marked with sadness, though there is a lot of history which needs to be addressed, a lot of reconciliation is required, a lot of understanding and a lot of love has to be integrated in the society so that Canada can move forward. I came last September and I did not know that I am coming to a city where actually the world should take an example from. Surrey is what Canada should be. Surrey is what future of the world should be. I've seen ethnicities here living together side by side, growing together. What a wonderful experience it has been for me so far. I was listening to the Honorable Mayor I've listened to your honorable ministers, honorable members of the parliaments, both provincial and federal, and at council level. I have never seen such beauty, at least in my 25 odd years of diplomacy. I would like to see one day a cricket team originating from Surrey, having names like, let's say, Akhtar Malik with Inderjeet Singh and Andrew McKellen defeating Pakistani and Indian cricket team. That I would like to see. I would like to one day see that match, and despite being a Pakistani, I would like to wear a Canadian flag on my chest and say, look, this is what unity means. This is what integration of society means. So I would like the Pakistani community and the other communities, and this is my favorite quote, and I love saying it, to be a force of love, the force of integration. Bring people together, bring societies together, bring ethnicities together. You have already done it. You just need to show the rest of the Canada how to do it. My well wishes and my prayers are all there for all the community. I thank you so very much. Once again, I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Pakistani Canadian Community Association wishes Happy Canada Day to all. We are proud citizens of the extraordinary country that give us so much to be grateful for. Today we thank to individuals who worked hard and pull us out of pandemic, and to our health leaders, politicians, community members who demonstrated immense maturity and sacrifice, including the city of Surrey council and staff. Thank you. Canada has a history of cultural evolution, from a worse colonial racism to a culture of great Canadian values and multiculturalism. Canada is a country where all citizens can enjoy freedom, prosperity and equality. We understand in a human society there will always be social and cultural issues present, but with available solutions. It is the collective responsibility of all of the cultural groups to understand and resolve them. In this regard, we have no doubt about the Canadian collective wisdom and characteristic. A good example was demonstrated by the Canadian Society against the historic racism against Indigenous people and recent hate crime in Ontario, London. On the occasion of 154th Canada Day, we must discuss, acknowledge and apologize for the historic tragedy of racism and discrimination within Indigenous people. The racial crime lasted for centuries as a society. The school system tragedy was so immense, thousands of children died, and the survival is still suffering from post-traumatic stress, alcoholism and suicide, which persist within Indigenous community today. On the Canada Day, we stand by the Indigenous people. We hope we all handle this crisis together as a nation, because we all are the beneficiary of the great Canadian Republic that is built on the ashes of the Indigenous civilization. After mourning, let's start reconciliation to bring communities together. The aim of our association is to develop community sense of ownership, right, obligation and great Canadian values for multiculturalism. We believe that diversity is our source of strength, not cause of division. No matter what is our faith, birthplace, race and languages, we all belong to a great Canadian nation. On behalf of my association, I wish Happy Canada to all of you. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you.
आज के इस स्पेशल ट्रांसमिशन को ख़त्म करने से पहले हम आज की जो यहाँ पे टीम है, फारूक हमारा पहली दफ़ा हिस्सा बने हैं, फारूक आज़म, यंग नौजवान, और हमारे आज बहुत सारा टेक्निकल जो काम पीछे आपने देखा वो मेजॉरिटी बल्कि ज़्यादा वो फारूक का उसमें हिस्सा था। फारूक, सबसे पहले तो रिपब्लिक प्लस टीवी की तरफ से, हमारी टीम की तरफ से बहुत शुक्रिया। آپ تشریف لائے, آپ نے مدد کی اور آپ ہمیشہ ہم آپ کو ویلکم کرتے ہیں اپنی ٹیم میں بھی. تھینک یو. واٹ یو وانٹ ٹو سے, آج کے بارے میں کیا کہنا چاہتے ہیں؟ جو اسپیچز آپ نے سنی, جو ماحول آپ نے دیکھا, جو کوشچنز ریز کیے گئے تھے, آپ کے خیال میں ہمارے پولیٹیشنز نے ان کو صحیح آنسر کیا؟
ڈیفینیٹلی اس میں کافی چیزیں آگے ہم دیکھیں گے, کیونکہ جو آج لوگوں نے یہاں پہ کہا ہے اس کا فیوچر میں پتہ چلے گا, مے بی ان کمنگ 2 to 3 months. بٹ ڈیفینیٹلی مجھے بہت اچھا لگا یہاں پہ جوائن کر کے آپ لوگوں کو, کیونکہ میں ضرور چاہتا ہوں کہ اس طرح کی کمیونٹی ایونٹس ہوتے رہیں. یہ ڈائیورسٹی ہماری جتنی بھی ہے اس کنٹری میں, سب کو ایکنالج کیا جائے اور سب کو اس کی تھینک یو کیا جائے, تاکہ فیوچر میں آنے والے جو لوگ ہیں یا ہماری جنریشنز ہیں ان کو بھی سمجھ آئے کہ ہم لوگوں نے جو ہے اپنی کمیونٹی کے لیے کچھ نہ کچھ کیا ہے. تو آئی ایم ویری ہیپی ٹو سی دیز کائنڈ آف ایونٹس اینڈ ڈیفینیٹلی لک فارورڈ فار دیم ان دا فیوچر.
ٹھیک ہے, تھینک یو سو مچ. ساجد بھائی, ہماری ٹیم کا جی بڑا زبردست, ہمارا ایک بہت خوبصورت پروگرام کرتے ہیں ویوز پلس ایٹ 8. ساجد بھائی, آج آپ نے جو دیکھا, آپ نے جو محسوس کیا, کیا خیالات ہیں, اور اس کے بعد ہم وائنڈ اپ کریں گے.
میرے جو خیالات ہیں, جہاں تک اکنالجمنٹ کی بات کی, تو لازمی بات ہے ہم جس سوسائٹی میں رہتے ہیں, جس جگہ رہتے ہیں, جہاں پہ کوئی کام ہوتا ہے تو ہمیں جو ہے وہ محسوس ہوتا ہے کہ دنیا دیکھ رہی ہے. جب دنیا دیکھ رہی ہوتی ہے تو ہم اپولوجیٹک بھی ہوتے ہیں, اور ہم دیکھتے ہیں کہ ہمیں پورا کینیڈا دیکھ رہا ہے, پرائم منسٹر بھی باہر آ کے اپولوجیٹک ہوگا, سب اپولوجیٹک ہوں گے. اب مسئلہ یہ ہے کہ ان سے کام کنہوں نے کروانا ہے, یا ان سے یہ جو لاز ہیں یا جو ریسٹرکشنز ہیں یا جو بھی آنے والے دنوں میں جو قانون سازی کی ہوگی نا, ویسے تو کچھ نہیں ہوگا, کس نے کروانی ہے, وہ ہم نے ہی کروانی ہے. اچھا, ہم کہاں تک تیار ہیں اس کے لیے؟ ہم بالکل تیار ہیں, ٹھیک ہے نا. تو اس لیے کہ ماضی دیکھ لیں اور ابھی بھی دیکھ لیں. ابھی کینڈل ویجن, میں ہمیشہ کہتا ہوں کینڈل ویجن کرنے کے بعد ہماری ابھی میٹنگ کیا ہوئی کہ ہم نے اسلامو فوبیا کے لیے کیا کرنا ہے. ہم نے یہاں سے لے کر کے ایسٹ کورٹ تک, ٹورانٹو تک, اپنے جتنی بھی پاکستانی ایسوسیشنز ہیں ان سب کو ایک پلیٹ فارم پہ اکٹھا کیا کہ ہمارا ایجنڈا کیا ہونا چاہیے, ہم نے سب نے مل کر اپنے لا میکرز کو کیا کرنا چاہیے. نمبر 1 تھنگ ہے کہ ہم BC سے لے کر کے اور نووا اسکوشیا تک جو ہے, ہم جتنی پاکستانی ایسوسیشن ہیں ہم سب ایک پلیٹ فارم پر, اور ہماری جتنی بھی BCMA کی طرح مسلم ایسوسیشن وہ سب ایک پلیٹ فارم پر, اور ہمارا ایک ایجنڈا, اور ایکٹیولی کام کریں. بالکل بالکل, جب ایک ایجنڈا ہوگا ہم مل کر کے کام کریں گے سب طرف سے. جب ان کے لا میکرز کو بھی وہی میسج جائے گا, سب کے لا میکرز کو بھی وہی میسج جائے گا کہ یار یہ مسلم کمیونٹی جو ہے ہم سے جو ڈیمانڈ کر رہی ہے, یہ صرف سری سے آواز نہیں آ رہی ہے, یہ صرف البرٹا سے آواز نہیں آ رہی ہے, اس پورے کینیڈا کے لوگوں کی آواز ہے. تو لازمی بات ہے اس سے پھر زیادہ افیکٹ پڑے گا. تو ہمیں اب جو ہے ایک اسٹیپ آگے بڑھنا پڑے گا.
خواتین حضرات, آج کے پروگرام سے, آج کے اسپیشل ٹرانسمیشن سے آپ سے اجازت چاہنے سے پہلے ایک دفعہ پھر میں یہ بات کروں گا کہ فارن انویسٹمنٹ ایکٹ جو کہ کینیڈین لا ہے, جس کے تحت یہاں سے کوئی ریکروٹمنٹ نہیں ہو سکتی, یہاں سے کوئی نہیں جا سکتا, مگر ایک کنٹری جو اس کو وائلیٹ کرتا ہے اور اس کو کوئی پکڑنے والا نہیں ہے. ہم نے یہ کوشچن آج ریز کیا تھا کہ اس کے اوپر ہمارے لا میکرز کیا کریں گے, اس کے اوپر ان کا کیا خیالات ہیں. انفارچونیٹلی سوائے ایک ہمارے جو MP ہیں ان کے علاوہ انہوں نے تھوڑا سا اس کو ٹچ کیا, مگر وہ بھی اس پہ بات نہیں کر سکے. کسی اور پولیٹیشنز نے, انکلوڈنگ جو ہمارے NDP BC کے لوگ تھے, خاص طور پہ ان سے بہت بڑا کوشچن تھا کہ ان کا اپنا ایک کینڈیڈیٹ, اپنا ایک کولیگ جو منسٹر بھی رہا یہاں NDP میں, نام لیوی, جو کہ لون سولجرز 300 لون سولجرز میں سے ایک تھا جنہوں نے پیلسٹینینز کو جا کے قتل کیا تھا, جینوسائڈ کیا تھا. آج ہماری یہ گورنمنٹ آج بھی ان کے اوپر بات کرنے سے کتراتی ہے. آج خواتین حضرات اتنا ہی, آپ لوگوں سے ملاقات ہوتی رہے گی. آپ سب کو ہیپی کینیڈا ڈے. جہاں جہاں آپ دیکھ رہے ہیں, اسٹے سیف. خدا کرے کہ آپ لوگ خوش رہیں, سیف ہوں, اور آگے بھی SOPs کا دھیان رکھیے. اور یہ ابھی ختم نہیں ہوا, کم ضرور ہوا ہے, ختم نہیں ہوا پینڈیمک. اسی کے ساتھ خواتین حضرات آج کے پروگرام سے اجازت, آج کے اسپیشل ٹرانسمیشن کا. خدا حافظ, السلام علیکم.